Thank you.
Thanks for staying with us. According to the reports, the two labor centers, the NLC and the Trade Union Congress, directed workers to stay off work starting today. This decision is against the ruling of the National Industrial Court, which barred labor from embarking on strike. Now, what are your general thoughts on this? You can call us on the numbers on your screen. You can also tweet us at TVC Connect. Please hashtag Yourview TVC so we can read your tweets. All right, so you guys heard about this strike, and what are your initial thoughts? I mean, when you heard, do you agree that we need to be striking on this? And I know at some point, hopefully, we'll open our phone lines for Nigerians to call in. What are your thoughts on this strike? Let me start with the ladies. You want to jump in?
Yes.
I know you're a labor...
I'm an educationist, so it's usually painful when we have strike. Anytime I hear strike, my ear stands. So I'm asking, is it ASU now or is it NLC? Is it ASU or is it NLC? And this one now that the NLC is trying to do, which is going to be affecting the whole working force. So I don't know the details if they want to just limit it within Imo State or they are moving it. So I think from the interactions and what the paper had carried this morning, they are planning to move it nationwide. And I'm worried about what is at play here. Normally we see NLC as a body that was created to fight for the people, to fight for the Nigerian workers, to make sure that every interest that they put forward is for the Nigerian worker, right? But now it seems to me like there's a bit of politics that's, at play here. There's a bit of ego that is at play here. We understand that he, went to carry out a peaceful protest in Imo State, and then he was attacked and beaten. But will that now warrant that we have a nationwide shutdown because the president was beaten? I just feel like, the chairman, I just feel like we have to be very careful so we don't start using some of these public tools to fight our own personal fights. And then we move away from what we're supposed to be protecting and preserving.
That is my own problem with NLC right now. This fight seems personal. It doesn't seem... Where were they when Senate just bought how many cars at 160 million? I mean, how much million? How many million?
160
I mean, 160 cars.
160 million, YK.
Where were they? That's where they should have come out to protest. Yes. They sat down. Then because they are president, which is bad for the president to be beaten, but it is a police case. It is a criminal case. Yeah, if they don't answer him, then he has the right to sue them. Not destabilize the whole country. You were going to say something. I just had to...
Yeah, I know. I was going to come to Mariam because sometimes, when I see stuff like this, you as Labour, you're trying to ensure good governance, that's what the Nigerian people, workers, are paid appropriately. You're supposed to be the moral ground somewhat of our nation. Yeah. And when you go on an ego tripping, which is what this looks like, you think like, are you any better than those in government? So if you were in this, if you're in the position as the president, or you have the position, would you do any better? Wouldn't you also go and buy 160 million naira because it's for your own personal desires or whatever your benefits? So the same thing we are complaining about, the people seem to be doing exactly the same thing. I mean, Mariam, what are your own thoughts when you saw this?
You know what? I really, really wanted to not be on the, because it seems obvious that this seems like a personal vendetta, maybe against the current administration or how things are being done right now. But I really wanted to come and today to understand like where they're coming from. And honestly, I haven't seen it yet. So I'm looking forward to maybe someone calling us and giving us like a different perspective. But it just seems to me as if there is, the NLC has a party right now, the Labour Party, and it is, involved in election like any other party. And so they will feel some personal growls, that their party is not making it, and so they are no longer representing the people, Nigerian workers, they're now representing their party. And their party feels aggrieved. Definitely, NLC is feeling aggrieved. That's how it's coming across. The protest that happened in Imo State also came, there was a lot of resistance. Many Nigerian workers did not even think that protest was necessary at the time. And then that happened where he was, he was waylaid by thugs. And it was well known that these were thugs that did this. It wasn't, first of all, there was a story that maybe it was the police. And of course, when you see the police, that means they're alluding that it's the federal government. And alluding maybe it's the party in government, that may have done that. But there's facts that shows that it was thugs that had come into that place and attacked him on the day. And so, I just feel that this is no longer about the Nigerian workers. This is about party and ego. And honestly, if there is any other person that can tell us otherwise, I'm happy to hear.
You know how I always say that we need women in labor. In fact, our president should actually... We have to put, because men go ego. I'm sorry to get all gender in this, and I do apologize to my male counterparts, but this is the male ego at play here a lot of times. True. Because if we had a woman who was chairman labor, she wouldn't go ego tripping. We honestly need to understand that this personal vendetta, you're trying to really show the president that you have the power to shut down the economy because you have been aggrieved. And so it's a power tussle. Well, and it's painful.
I don't agree with you that it's because it's men. I think it's the human being. It is not their gender, it's just them.
Yeah, that's gender. 100%.
I don't think it's gender. I just think that is who they are.
I think women given the same power.
Oh, that is who...
I don't think a woman given the same power would do that kind of thing. Never. She might do a different thing.
Yeah,
but she might do a different thing, which is faulty.
You never can tell.
This one.
You never can tell when she's having a
Some women have shocked us. Some women have shocked us in our country. They have done something.
And the worst case that will happen is NLC and ASU may be keeping malice for a long time.
Oh, I don't like that.
I don't like that. But you see, again, we have also complained that our government don't obey court orders.
Yeah.
Yes. So
NLC here is not obeying the industrial court orders.
Government and everybody cannot talk there. Both of them agree.
Yes,
exactly. So my point is that who is Nigeria? Like, who is going to help us? Because we, the people, are still those in NLC.
Yeah.
We keep complaining about each other, acting as if we're going to be better if we
the people are those in government too.
We the people, all of government, NLC, all of us are the same thing. Yeah. Who's going to save Nigeria?
So I think
when the government is talking about NLC not obeying court orders, I don't want to hear.
Guilty, yes.
Because they have released Nnamdi Kanu since 19... Have they released him?
Yeah. They can't use that.
MFN, it was when the judge said, okay, this one, I'm not even agreeing, that they now released him. So government, they get their own for body. So make we not even...
So two wrongs now make a right.
Yeah.
I'm not saying.
We're just saying that there's no moral
ground.
Thank you. They don't have the moral ground.
Yeah, so nobody should not talk about it. They shouldn't mention it because they don't have the moral ground.
Something else. So we all disagree. Honestly, I disagree. I don't see it. I don't see why there's going to be a nationwide strike. Why we're shutting down our economy because someone was attacked. This can be addressed in courts, the police station. I mean, there was also the... you remember we had read the story where he was supposed to have been taken abroad to deal with those wounds. Has he recovered fully?
Obviously.
I mean, is he on ground right now? So it just seems very petty at this point.
Yes, I agree with you. Very, very petty. This is not the way to go. So I'm also worried why ASU wants to now join them. So we know NLC is aggrieved right now because of what had happened. And I know that ASU has been in talks with the federal government to see how they can follow up with the memorandum that they have signed and seen. So why do they want to join NLC at this moment? Are we even considering what is happening in the economy right now? Are we even paying attention to how many months those students lost that were just trying to recover? Are we even listening to the people at all? I think at this point, the people need to be able to stand by themselves and say no. If every worker decides to go to work, what will NLC body do? Nothing. But we too don't have the will to say no.
I understand
why. No, but nobody went on. They said the strike was a failure in
the one they did in Imo,
yes.
So if Nigerians decide to show up and go to work,
my question
is... Nothing. We need to stand for ourselves.
Who, therefore, who are the real enemies of Nigeria? Let's start asking ourselves this question. We know Nigerians don't like politicians. They don't like government. So that one, they are already enemy number one.
Enemy, yeah.
But who else are Nigerians' enemies? Because sometimes you feel that we're trying to take one step forward and somebody is hell-bent on pulling us back 10 times. Because the way the economy is, we are all... people. I'll let you answer 1 second. Many people are complaining.
Yes,
they can't feed.
Biting everybody.
People's salaries are not enough.
Here.
The person that's going on strike, he doesn't have money And yet, you are telling him to stay home because he won't get paid. Because federal government tells you tomorrow that because you didn't come to work for
will not
expiry
pay you.
we
No
won't
work,
pay
no
you.
pay.
Is it Nigeria that will pay their salaries
No.
from his own pocket? So, who's going to say...
Let me tell you. You have said the answer by yourself. You said the answer by yourself.
Which is
the Nigerian politicians. The Nigerian politicians are sponsors of all these parties, all these NLC, NBC.
No, it's a union. How are they sponsored?
Didn't Obialu, or was it Marian that just said NLC are
Labour Party.
Labour Party? Maybe the other one are APC. Maybe another one is PDP. So they are using these bodies
Machinery
to fight the people.
Super selfish.
So we are just the poor grass.
I'm telling you,
that are suffering
these things
under these giants. Because people have been complaining about the election. NLC did not fight because of election. They did not strike. They did not strike when senators bought car and justified buying expensive cars. They did not talk when they bought yachts. They didn't talk about yachts. They kept quiet. Then they now come at them because they slap their oga.
They want
all
to shut
of
down
us
the nation.
Must go on strike. So hunger must catch all of us. Only because of the slap.
This person that they wanted to carry abroad to go and treat his wounds.
Have they not carried him?
No.
Maybe they brought him back quickly.
So they didn't have the dignity to say, okay, let's find a Nigerian hospital to treat our girl. They said, well, let's fly him abroad.
Yes, but we hold politicians.
I think we need to know who the real enemies of.
You were also talking. You talked about all the different reasons why they should have protested long before now. Recently, we talked about Nigerian workers who, the civil service is asking them to come from different parts of Nigeria to converge in Abuja for validation or exercise. And we saw these people in a small, enclosed environment, pushing and pulling. NLC, I did not hear NLC say anything about how that was conducted, how they should have been treated. These people would travel from different parts of the country on their own. They pay for their transportation, they pay for their accommodation, pay for their feeding, and then they get there and they still have to wait days and days before validation is done in that condition. And some of them till date said they have not been paid September and October because after the validation they have to go again and check, and this is something they do yearly. NLC has not stood up to say stop treating Nigerian workers this way. Find a more decent, dignifying way of treating our workers. But here we are talking because someone went to a protest that was not even meant
you have a call? Sorry.
push the Nigerian
Let me take a call.
cause.
Good morning. Thanks for calling.
Good morning.
You're live. Go ahead, please.
Yeah. Please, there are some things I want to say here. When the head is rotting, nothing the body can. That's number one. Number two, this notion of NLC going on strike their particular political party is wrong. Not every worker voted for Labour Party. You should understand that. I remember some years ago when Jonathan wanted to remove the subsidy. It was this same Labour that came out, that APC then sponsored, came out a mass to shut down Nigeria. We didn't say then that APC was using the Labour against Jonathan. We didn't say that. We supported it. So why now? That is number two. Number three, with the kind of politicians we have in Nigeria, they are the biggest problem of Nigeria. The biggest tsunami that is destroying Nigeria are these politicians. They are telling us to sacrifice, but they are not ready to sacrifice. When will a politician collect a House of Rep member or a senator collect a fee of 160 million naira to do what? That money can pay the salary of so many people in the workforce. It can do it. So I have always said that the best thing for Nigerian politicians is that let everybody be on national minimum wage of 30,000 naira from the presidency down. Minimum wage of 30,000 naira. Then all these allowances, newspaper allowance, housekeep allowance, drivers allowance, entertainment allowance, all those things should be removed. Be removed from them. But they are taking policies here in Nigeria as a business. They are not there to serve the interest of the people. They are not there. Since Labour, they have been talking about salary increase. They are not talking about it. But when they want to increase them, they don't even discuss about it. The next Nigeria we hear is that they have increased their own.
We're going to be opening our phone lines for viewers to call in to tell us what your thoughts are on the strike. Do you agree with Labour? Do you disagree with Labour? You can call us on 081-07-64-1679, 090-241-63440. You can also tweet to us at TVC. Can I please hashtag Yourview TVC so we can read the tweet. Now, do you find it coincidental that when Labour is calling for a strike, it's the same time, around the same time, that a human rights activist was saying that nobody saw NSAS coming? If you remember what she was posted, that nobody saw NSAS protest coming, nobody will see the next uprising coming. Sadly, it might end up being violent. There's a simmering anger fueled by the impunity and brazenness of the corrupt politicians and rulers who have rigged their way to power. So a lot of people went for this human rights activist saying that, please bring your children to be at the forefront of this protest first. Once we see your family members there, then we'll stand behind you. Others have also condemned, saying that because your party did not win, which is also the Labour Party, did not win, that's why you're coming up with this post. Now, around the same time, NLC is now saying we're shutting down the whole of Nigeria. So do you think this is some kind of an orchestrated plan by Labour Party to actually just challenge government or to shut down the economy, or just because their party didn't win in certain elections? I think that's the question Nigerians are asking this morning, and I'd like to open our phone lines if we can get a few calls. I hear Yakub is waiting. Good morning, Yakub. Thanks for calling. You're live.
Yeah, thank you very much, Morayo. And then good morning to everyone in the studio.
Yeah.
Morayo, I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised once again that Labour is going the way they are going. Totally, Labour is no more a Labour that we all know. Labour is now a political party. It's a political party. I will tell you, because you rightly mentioned some of the quote and unquote civil rights. They are saying that nobody saw the NSAS is coming. What come for that? You see, some of the people in this country are still so annoyed that Bola Ahmed Tinubu won that election. But whether they like it or not, he has won the election. What all of us need to do is to support him and then make sure that this country comes to where we all need. See, Labour say that they are going to shut down this country now. Now, last 2 months, if I don't make mistake, this same Labour had meeting with the federal government, and then there were letter of memorandum that says that CNG, some of us are using car, we cannot be able to use our car the way we want. Why? Because the petroleum price is going up. And then they were telling us that in the coming soon, like 2 months to that time, the CNG, all of our cars will be able to convert to CNG gas, and then we can be able to use our car the way we want. Now, I was expecting Labour to communicate to Nigerian citizens that the agreement between us and the federal government, they were not doing it. So in that case, we are going on strike. So now, one of your guests, your co-colleagues, rightly mentioned something earlier, that then Labour, as a person, look at Agero here, you would. Instead of you to come to Ikeja here to come and treat yourself, they fly you out of this country, and then the same Labour will complain that politicians are flying out of this country because they have it. So what are you trying to pass to us? Labour is a political party, and then it's going to get to a stage where the Nigerian citizens is not going to listen to them anymore because they were seeing them as a political party, which is very, very so bad, and that is not good for Nigerian citizens because we believe it is only Labour that can talk to Nigeria.
Thank you very much, Yakub.
I was going to say 2 women were killed yesterday. Where are NLC when they were killed? Have they come out to
They are Nigerian workers.
They are Nigerian workers.
Yes, sir.
Where they were not just beaten, they were killed.
Yes.
Okay.
Who is fighting to ensure that another woman is not killed on the street sweeping? Nobody's fighting. It's the one that will enter their pocket.
Opportunity for them to shout that this is unacceptable.
Yes.
Because they slap your oga at the top. So you want to now give all of us pain.
Go ahead.
Okay.
Yeah.
No.
So I have a message here because after I had given my opinion, someone says to me that he does not think I understand what is actually happening. And so I asked, feedback. So he says, number 1, NLC president is not just one common man, as you've described him. He represents the workforce of the nation. With his authority, nothing will work and the government will be grounded. It is unprecedented to have Labour president beaten not even during the Abuja regime. Labour Party is also not NLC party at all. And then far from that, and it says only APC apologists are saying that just to abuse unsuspected Nigerians. So basically, he's just saying that if you think that the Labour Party has nothing to do with the NLC, they're two different bodies altogether. No, it's one of our viewers, you know, and he's also giving his opinion. So the NLC is separate from our Labour Party, from the Labour Party, according to his opinion. And yes, the NLC has its shortcomings, and so does the government. But the fact that the NLC president was treated that way is unacceptable. So if it's we all agree.
So if it's unacceptable, should we therefore shut down the whole of nations? Let us know. Let us ask that same man that because they've beaten this so powerful man. Because he was beaten up by this man, can we shut down the biggest economy in Africa just because this one man, Nigeria, was beaten up? Yes. That's the question we should ask this person.
Exactly.
So let me then take this call from Nasir. I'll come to UBC. Good morning, Nasir.
Good morning.
You're live. Go ahead, please.
Yeah, I agree 100% with Yakub.
Okay.
We should not politicize everything in this country. In addition, we have this to it. The Labour, they have their functions. And I condemn in totality the beating given by the leader. But I will cite an example. Some years back, I was in London, Charing Cross Hospital specifically. Something happened in Woolwich. A black man killed a military man. I was scared. My doctor told me I should not be scared that nothing will happen. I was to be discharged that day. And truly speaking, nothing happened. It was treated, the Yoruba man, the black man that killed that army officer is still in detention today. Yeah, and the citizenry did not suffer for it. No attack whatsoever. Now, when must I now suffer? Like AY said, why not report this thing to the appropriate authority and let them take action? Now, I will suffer now. I will not be able to move freely. I will not to end my living, all because Nigerian was beaten.
Yeah.
That's too much, please.
You know, I was listening to a message. Thank you very much, Mr. Nasser. I was listening to a message by Pastor Sam Adeyemi. Was saying that any leader that does not have love has no business being a leader. Because what he's saying that the ultimate commandment is love. If there's love, if Ajero is doing everything he's doing because he loves Nigerian people. He wants to fight for these people because his entire life, his heart is tied to Nigerians. He won't shut down the Nigerian economy. It's not about love. It comes across as being selfish.
Yeah.
But let me come to you.
Yes. So I wanted to add that the two issues are separate and we should not combine it in the sense that you planned a strike and a protest. And then in that protest, some thugs or miscreants attacked you and beat you up. It wasn't the Nigerian workforce that attacked you and beat you up. So you must not join the issues. You report the matter to the appropriate authorities. They follow up, they fish out those thugs, and they punish them for it.
You don't trust the appropriate authorities?
No. You cannot say you don't trust the appropriate authorities, but then you are supposed to be fighting for workers. So if you don't trust the appropriate authorities, your job is to ensure that they put people there who you can trust. So have you fought that fight?
Can I ask a question? What was the original protest about?
So, yes, let
me list it here. So the first thing they said, a series of infractions and encroachments of the rights of workers and distressing incidents. Then they mentioned the beat-up that happened. And also, they wanted the federal government, they said the refusal of the government to implement agreements, non-payment of backlog of salaries, pensions, discriminatory payment of salaries, and non-compliance to national minimum wage. That's the fight. So it is a genuine fight.
No, sorry. The original one, the one that happened in Imo. You know, there was a protest in Imo that led to his beating.
So they went to protest for these things I just mentioned.
So that all that was happening in Imo.
No, that was different. Wait, that was it. Let me take this call, then we'll get the right information. Okay. Good morning, Olufemi, you're live. Thanks for calling.
Good morning.
You're live. Go ahead, please.
My name is Olufemi from the United States, Indiana.
You're live. Go ahead, Mr. Olufemi.
Well, it's unfortunate that the NUC president is going this route. In this country, that is in Nigeria, during the regime of Obasanjo, Oshiomhole was negotiating for the increase in fuel price.
and he was beaten. It is not because of that stop the negotiation. He continued the negotiation until he was able to achieve the fair deal for us in that country. But this man, there was a court injunction restraining him from going to Imo State. He went, and then he was now beaten. He's now shutting down the nation, and then wants Nigeria to grow. I pity him. I don't know how Nigeria is going to grow with all these people. And I'm calling Femi Falana, who is their lawyer. There is a court injunction stopping them now. Is he coming out to ask them not to go on strike?
Exactly.
He kept quiet. And all these people come to the television, and then they will be participating as if they are the only force.
Oh, thank you very much, Mr. Lufe. You see, in Nigeria, we have a problem. But lie. See, I always say, if I leave Nigeria, it's not because of Nigeria, it's because of Nigerians. Because sometimes, that's what he just made an important point. A very highly respected lawyer, Mr. Femi Falana, is their lawyer. And he's not putting them to order. Listen, you are going against a court order that has said you cannot strike. That in itself is an infraction. But the original
give his advice, but that does not mean that your client
will. Okay, so the original, that's true. So the original issue, as we know, right, was they're asking for the wage awards, implementation of palliatives, tax exemptions, allowances to the public sector workers, and review of minimum wage. Those are the original issues.
In Imo State.
Nationwide. That was the original, and they were in talks with the federal government, going back and forth.
Okay, so let me give you the protest in Imo. The NLC had called on workers in Imo State to embark on a statewide strike on November 1. While declaring the strike, Mr. Jero said the industrial action was in protest against the persistent and egregious violations of the rights and privileges of workers in Imo State by the state government.
Now, so the issue is, that was happening towards Imo's election. You didn't remember they're not paying salaries across the nation. Other state governments are not paying salaries, though. But today we are focusing on Imo because the election is about to happen in the next few weeks. So let us now raise the issue. They didn't pay salaries, though. We're having issues. We're not going to protest. That was what we were speaking against Imo and then NLC. Why are you protesting in Imo? Because the elections are coming. Now, elections have come and gone. Well, while the whole drama of the election was going on, your guy got beat up. Oh, you guys have mind to come and beat us. Temerity. Now we shut down the whole of the nation. That's what we are seeing. So the original issue is being they've been engaged with the government.
Because somebody make you feel as if you don't know what you're saying.
Those were their original. If that was their grouse before the election, I think they were justified.
Of course.
They whether it was 2 days to the election, 1 day to the election, they had their right to go on a protest. Peaceful protest.
Very convenient, yes.
However,
whether it is political, they have political agenda, but all of them, everybody has. Because let's remember,
we have to wrap up.
Let's remember that Jonathan, this thing, that was politically motivated, though.
Trying to remember which one.
That one brought APC into government.
Occupy Nigeria.
Occupy Nigeria, fuel subsidy. There is fuel subsidy. Everybody is just looking now. So, they all work for politicians. My point being, I'm sorry you have to wrap up. My point being, they all work for politicians. All of them.
Yeah.
So what can the Nigerians do? Before you quickly go, what will Nigerians do? Are they going on
to work?
Go to work.
That's
what
will
happen?
Means.
According to Obiajulu on Yourview.
Everybody
let us go on a break. Our own is just to express our views, right? To say, so Nigerians, you did make a decision. Let's go on a quick break. When we come back, we'll have to move on to the next segment. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Yourview will be right back.